Hey guys, what I want to do is run through that framing scenario that I did in class, just so it makes a little bit more sense. And I know that was a really quick run through. So here comes a video of it, and also use that tutorial, the PDF tutorial I have online to help you out. So the first thing you do, and we're going to basically work off of our plan, and I'm going to show you variations in a minute, but let's work off of our basic plan and the scenario I did in class. First thing you can do is take two pieces of plate. You cut your plates and fit them onto your plan. So that is one wall, two plates. Take two plates, cut them, and there is my back wall. And I would do the exact same for here. So now that you have all your plates cut and ready to go, what you can do is move them off of your drawing. So what we want to now determine is where all our doors and windows are going to go. So let's hypothetically say, for now, I want to make this fairly easy, and I want to keep doors and windows in a place where it's really easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a door right in between these studs. I know that on the inside of your king or common studs, you need a trimmer to carry your header. So I mark that off and I write trimmer. Everything else on the inside now is going to be cripples. Great. So let's just put one door on that wall. Now you take your wall, put them together and stand them up. Align them exactly with what we have done here, what I have done on your plans, and mark off your studs. So you have a stud at the end. Cool. Stud at the end. Excellent. And then a stud here, and I just make one single mark and an X. Stud here, single mark, X. Stud there, single mark, X. Oh, now I got a trimmer. I write a T for trimmer. That has to go away. That turns into a cripple. I put C for cripple. Oh, it's inside my opening. Another cripple. Yikes, still in my opening. Another cripple. Boom. And now I'm over to here. I've got a trimmer. Carry my header. And then a common stud. And then I have my stud on over here. Make my single line and a mark. I always make my marks to the left of the stud. That way it's consistent. I've just laid out a wall with my door in it. The next thing you're going to do is split your wall like this. And then you can start filling in your components. And when I say fill in your components, I'm going to shift it over here because my paper's all jammed up. Fill in your components. Fill in your common studs. Remember, you cut a whole bunch of those. You go through filling them all in. Then when you come to the doorway, you have your common stud. Next to that, remember, you have your trimmer, which is going to be shorter. Then you have cripple, which you're going to wait on. Cripple, wait. Up. Then we come to another trimmer. Then another common. And then another stud, and then your final stud. You now have your wall just about complete and ready to put together. Everything is laid out appropriately. Now you need to cut your header. Now, you guys, I gave you big header material. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any home with me today, so what you can do is cut your header. How do you measure your header? You know your header goes over your trimmers, right? Absolutely, because your trimmers support it. And it goes common stud to common stud. So that would be my header. Slips in there like that. This would come together. Top plate on. And we're ready to go. That is the basic assembly of that wall as I showed you guys. That's a real easy way to do it. Your cripples now will go in this point up here. I'd come back and I'd make my cripples now and cut them in and have them align in there. I would take my pins and put it together. I'd take glue, put glue on the bottom and pin it and stamp it together. That's a quick version of that wall layout. Now, that was a real simple, easy door, okay? You guys need to do one door and two windows, okay? Let me show you something different now that might be applicable to you guys. Well, it will be no matter what you do, if you want to add a door or a window in a specific location. So let's do this. Get rid of all that stuff. That's gone. That wall's done. Let's start with this wall up here, okay? Let's take care of that wall. Let's just say we have everything cut and you go, oh boy, you know what? I really want to locate my door in a specific location. And that's in the center of the wall. So your walls, you're going to go, okay, let's see, I'd be 4.5, 4 and 9. Center of this wall would be 4 and 9/16. So I'm going to make a mark at the center, 4 9/16. Let me just make sure the old math was right. Indeed it was. This is the center. Let's say I want a door there. Let's also say I want a small door. I just want a really small door. Let's go with something like, I don't know, 3-foot door, okay? Let's go with a 3-foot door. In terms of entry doors, I'd make it smaller, but let's say you want to do a 3-foot door. So what I'm going to do here is I take out my scale, measure 3-foot door. And the way I'm going to measure out a 3-foot door is I go 1 foot 6 inches one way and 1 foot 6 inches the other way, right? Because that gives me 3 feet. And you guys, you don't need a scale. I mean, make the doors appropriate looking. You can even just use your regular ruler and go, what would that be? 2 1/4 inches. That looks like an appropriate door. What I'm worried about for you guys to do is this now. I want to see that you come in with all the proper components. So there's your door. Now, the first thing you got to do is this. You got to lay out all the components for your door. You know on the other side of your door is going to be what? A trimmer, right? So write in your trimmer. And I'm making these, sorry, that should have been a T. I'm making these, obviously, this width because I'm going to lay it out just like that. So there's your trimmer, and on the other side of that, we know we are going to have a common, right? The exact same thing as we had down below. Boy, now we have that difficult task of laying our studs out. I already had them laid out for you down here, but now you have to do them up here. And this is really easy, honestly. Take a look. Put your ruler back up there, okay? Remember I said studs are 16 inches on center, also known as 1 inch. 1 inch, okay? When we take it to 3/4 inch equals 1 foot scale. So 1 inch, I make a line. I go, okay, that's going to be a stud. 2 inches, I make a line. That's going to be a stud. 3 inches, I make a line. Believe it or not, you need another stud there. Even though you got these guys next to it, you need another one there. 4 inches, oh, that's in my opening, so what are you going to do? That's a cripple. 5 inches, boom, that's a cripple. 6 inches, oh, I already have a stud, I'm okay. 7 inches, need another stud. 8 inches, another stud, and then you always need a stud at the end. I just created that layout. Easy peasy. Now what you can do is transfer that right onto your wall studs. Mark them down, straight on down. Oops, sorry, I should have started here. X, X. That's a common. Another common. We have our common. Oh, and then we have our other common. Back to back. Then we have a trimmer taking place in there. Trimmer, trimmer. These are going to be cripples. Cripples. Cripple, cripple. Trimmer, trimmer. Common stud. Common stud. Common. And then common. What I'm going to now do is this. Going to split the wall. Okay, and let me move that over here. It's a little more stable. Split the wall, and I would do my layout once again, taking, I just like to start at my doors, and I'd say, okay, hey, there's my trimmer. Sorry, was that my trimmer? No, it was not. There's my trimmer. My trimmer's a little bit shorter, so hold that up. Look, there's the trimmer right there. Can you see that? Those things are aligning. And then I'm going to move to the other side of my door. There's my trimmer. So what I just did is create a much smaller door, and then I'd have all my other studs laying out appropriately all the way through. I just created a smaller door. So that was how you create a door opening. It just happened to be, I wanted to center this one. You can use this layout and put them, next to the studs I already have, and that just makes it a whole lot easier. But if you want a very specific location, you need to do it like I do. Go through, lay out your doors and windows first. So by laying out the door first, you centered it up and located it. So now I'd come in here, I'd cut my header out of the thicker material I gave you guys. Once again, unfortunately, I don't have the thick material with me at home. I'd lay it out with a header and then do your cripples. Don't forget, glue and nail your walls. Make sure they're nice and square and placed together appropriately. So that's it. The only variation I think I wanted to show you guys is this. Let's do something here. I'm going to pause you and we'll be right back. So here we are back. We framed up our small door. What I wanted to show you now, let's say you wanted to just turn that into a window. Okay, that is not a problem. I'll show you how we do it. So obviously, if this is going to be a window, you're still going to need your header up above. Let me put that in there for you. And again, you guys do a little more precise measurement than what I'm doing here. But you would have your header, and again, use the bigger material. I'm just using the smaller material for now. Your header would go in there, lay down, place it in place, cripples above it. Perfect. The next thing you guys are going to do is going to be your sill. So determine how high up you want your sill. So let's say you want it at this location or down further, so you want it down further. Locate your sill appropriately. Then what you're going to do is, remember, you mark cripples down here. Come in with your cripples, place those in here. Bring your sill down on top of it. And now you guys have just created the whole scenario for a window. So in a window, you're going to have your cripples below. You're also going to have cripples above. Obviously, you still do all the other layouts exactly the same as you did your doors and windows. Everything is going to be exactly the same scenario. Keep everything aligned, and then go on through and pin everything together, and it all should align. So that is it. I think that's pretty much everything you guys are going to need to know. We are going to start next week. I'm going to go with my tutorial for roofs. I would really get on some of these walls. Do a couple walls just so you have a good sense of how they're going together. If you're having problems, if you need lumber that's going to be softer or whatever, because some of this lumber is definitely a struggle. But good example of a window. Again, it has a trimmer also. Also has a header, has a sill. Sill doesn't really carry any weight. It's just there to support the window frame itself, because window frames get actually affixed to the exterior of the structure. So that's it. If you guys have any questions on this, you guys can shoot me a email or something prior to next week's class. But I think this will give you enough to get going. Certainly be able to get you going so you can show up to class and have some questions. So I'll see you next week.